Stink. It's gonna be good. I won't be late for my CCAP call.
There we go, let's try it. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it
here
again.
you go. Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna call this September 28th, 2021 meeting, Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to order. Will all please rise for the pledge of allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Gordon, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. I'll note that we're being live streamed right now. It's being sent out via our YouTube channel. We're also being recorded internally for our purposes of compiling the minutes. And to that end, if anybody has any business before the board, we ask that you come up to the bench and speak into that microphone so it picks it up for our recording. That's about it. Row officer reports and comments. Do we have anybody here from the row officers, or I guess looking around, Tracy, you might be the only one here that kind of qualifies as a row officer reporting. Anything above and beyond what's on the agenda?
No.
Awesome. Public comments. Do we have any member of the public here wishing to make comment? Seeing none, I'll note for anybody who might potentially be watching via live stream, that if you wish to submit a public comment but might not want to come into the courthouse or occupy in a way that prevents you from coming into the courthouse, you can submit your public comment to mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. That's mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. Please do the subject line public comment. Fiscal and contractual, we have no advertising bids and presents, no receipt of bids and presents, no fiscal reports, no report on quotes. We have 2 warrant registers, one from September 15, one from September 17. I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those out and take a motion to accept and file the warrant registers.
I had a minute to review them earlier, so I will make that motion to approve.
Bear with me just 1 second, please.
Well, not much longer than the second, Dan. Come on, we're on a schedule here.
I'm not as fast as you, Loretta.
I took that speed reading.
There you go.
I mean, nothing stood out as unusual, I should say, other than our, I know that this time it's a bit longer because it's the foster parent
Parents, yeah.
payments and things, yes.
I will second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Warrant register is accepted. Up next, approval of minutes from Tuesday, September 14th. I'll note that we did not meet last week, which is why there are no minutes from the 21st. So I'll give my colleagues a minute to look those over and take a motion to approve the minutes or make any necessary speedy changes.
I think we should change the part where you answered the question correctly. To say that I did. I didn't even get a chance to brush up on our northern townships and boroughs to see what the question's going to be from our esteemed colleague on that other side there.
From the game show host.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, and I'll
Yeah.
second.
We have a motion
I'll
second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, motion carries. We have 5 written communications today. One's from Universal Refractories applying for a DEP air quality program permit for their facility in Wampum, Pennsylvania.
Let the record show, I used to work there.
Universal Refractories?
Yep, between my graduating from high school and before I started college, I worked there 1 summer.
Okay.
And they paid me well, but boy, it was filthy, dirty work.
Mm.
And I worked 7 to 3, if I recall. And would have to go home every afternoon and take a very long shower just to get
Right.
cleaned up. But they paid me well. And they're still going. They've expanded, and it's good company.
No, they absolutely are. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I did honest work at one point in my life.
I was about to say, politics is filthy, dirty work. Different way.
That's true.
Boy, we are all on our game today.
Yes, sir.
Next up, North American Forge Masters. We got an Act 14 notification for their site on Moravia Street. installation of one heat treat and forging furnace at the North American Forge Masters facility on Moravia. From the Elwood Group, a state-only operating permit renewal for their facility on Moravia Street, DEP permit. From Power Engineers for the Hillcorp Energy Company Pulaski Lighting Central Facility, a DEP Air Quality GP5 general permit application for compressor engine installation and operation. And from, we might have to change the county admin on DEP.
Look at that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, Commissioner Gagliano.
We better let him know.
They're
There,
not, because he'll want pay.
we got a PennDOT planning bridge replacement project
Wow.
for SR 551 Eden Valley over Sugar Creek. And so they have just a notification here to us. They're applying to DEP. It's amazing. I mean, even the interstate agencies have to apply.
Yeah, right.
It's sort of an interesting thing.
Mhm. Checks and balances.
I'll note, as I always do, that we have no approval authority over these permits under state law. Different individuals and companies are required to notify the Board of Commissioners when certain activities take place within Lawrence County. We're only required to be notified if we really don't have any authority to dictate whether or not these permits are approved or not approved. But I will take a motion to accept and file correspondence unless there's any further questions or comments.
So moved.
Second, we have a motion is second. Is there any discussion here? None. Question. So on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Staff reports. Is there any member of staff here that has anything to report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Good. Commissioner reports and comments. The only thing on that, I just found this out walking down the stairs. I was curious. Volland Borough has a population of 168 people as of the last census. I haven't seen the most recent numbers. 7 of those individuals serve on borough council, which means 4% of the entire town serves on borough council. Just thought that was interesting.
Now, what if you throw the mayor into the mix? Then now you've got 8.
There you go.
What's the percentage there? Does that get up to 5%?
Let me get the calculator back up.
Because the mayor's an elected position.
You're at 4.8.
We'll round it up.
Close,
Getting
yes.
closer.
5%.
5%.
That's an interesting statistic.
Yeah. Loretta, the floor is yours.
I can't top that. Okay. Nothing, other than CCAP and being there and learning more about that and realizing how much they really do get involved with the day-to-day functioning and working of the county government, the commissioners in particular. Wow. It's something. So I'm glad that I'm participating and learning more about what CCAP has to offer. So it was very interesting. Well worth the trip being there. Yes.
Thank you. Dan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Loretta, of course, is referencing the fact that most of you know, but maybe you don't. She was elected to the treasurer position of the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. It's a statewide organization. And she and I both now serve on the board of directors, but she's on the executive committee, so she's even higher on the chain of command. And but no, it is a good organization, and we're really glad that you've stepped up in that leadership position. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned boroughs.
Here we go.
Now, I have to postpone the question till next week.
Oh, I'm glad.
But next week's question will deal with Lawrence County boroughs. But what I want to mention today, very briefly, and we didn't plan this. It was just coincidental that you brought up borough. This was not planned. We get, I think it's printed quarterly. Debbie, do you get the Borough News magazine?
No, I get the township one.
Well, they don't send you the borough one. Okay. Well, the Pennsylvania Boroughs Association publishes a magazine, I think quarterly. And at the back of each edition, they feature one of the state's boroughs. By the way, and I had to look this up, there are 956 boroughs in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Lawrence County has 10 of those 956. Well, this edition, the featured borough is Bessemer Borough in Lawrence County. And it's very brief. It says, established in 1913, Bessemer Borough, Lawrence County, near the Ohio state line, was named for its link to the steel industry. Although settlers first came to the area in the late 1790s, it remained largely a rural crossroads until 1887, when a group of blast furnace operators opened limestone quarries, establishing the Bessemer Limestone Company. It was named for Sir Henry Bessemer, the English inventor of the Bessemer process, which used limestone in steelmaking. And then it has Bessemer Borough's website for more information about Bessemer. And the one thing it didn't mention that many years ago they manufactured bricks in the borough of Bessemer as well as a brick manufacturing facility. So I'll pass this around if people want to take a look at it. And I think that's great that one of our boroughs is highlighted in this statewide magazine. So again, it's interesting that you brought up a borough, and next week for the trivia question will be
Okay.
about boroughs.
Is that where the brick streets at Bessemer come from? Bessemer
I
Brick?
bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet you it is. Yeah.
And the map in your office, what was that map from?
Oh,
It doesn't
glad
have
you
Bessemer
asked
on
that.
it.
You're right, because that map in my office is from about 1908 or 1909.
Yeah.
And you're right, there's no Bessemer Borough because it hadn't been incorporated at that point. So, yeah,
See,
very interesting history. So thank you, and again, next week we'll have a trivia.
okay, brush up on those boroughs.
On to the resolution portion of the circus. We've got, resolution, President?
223.
223, appointing Amy McKinney as the Fair Housing Officer. I figured the easiest way to do this is just I'll read the resolution, you don't.
Thank
This is just a mundane thing.
Dismissed.
You're up next, but it's just the resolution, whereas County of Lawrence applies annually to the Department of Community and Economic Development for the Community Development Block Grant application, whereas this will serve to advise all residents of the county of the following actions if based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familiar status, family with children, or handicap disability is prohibited by Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, Federal Fair Housing Act, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act, adds the additional protected class of age, ancestry, and use of guide or support animals because of blindness, deafness, or physical handicap of the user, or because the user is a handler or trainer of support or guide animals are considered discriminatory. List a number of bullet points such as if you refuse to sell or rent to, deal or negotiate with any person, discriminate on any terms or conditions for buying or renting housing, discriminating by advertising that housing is available only to persons of a certain race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familiar status, handicap, age, ancestry, or use of guide or support animals, denying that housing is available for inspection, sale, or rent when it really is available, block busting for profit, persuading owners to sell or rent housing by telling them that minority groups are moving into the neighborhood, denying or making different terms or conditions for home loans by financial institutions, or denying anyone the use or participation in any real estate services, multiple listing services, or other facilities related to selling and renting of housing. And whereas if you are a person with a disability and require reasonable accommodation, please contact the Fair Housing Officer / agency. Whereas if you are limited English proficient and require document translation, please contact the Fair Housing Officer or agency. Whereas all local residents of Lawrence County are hereby notified that Amy McKinney is designated as a Fair Housing Officer for the County of Lawrence, and any resident that believes that they may have been discriminated against under any above conditions may file a complaint with the Fair Housing Officer, which, as we stated, is Amy McKinney. Now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that the Board of Commissioners designate Amy McKinney as the Fair Housing Officer. Interesting fact, in all of Amy's years of being designated as the Fair Housing Officer, she's only ever received one phone call. So either we don't discriminate here in Lawrence County or we just hide it. It's a joke. But I'll take, unless there's any questions, comments, anything further, I'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-223.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Beth, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Becky? What do we, oh, this is the same type of thing.
Yeah.
We'll just read it. Don't worry about it. Resolution, whereas the County of Lawrence against Community Development Block Grant, whereas pursuant to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and its implementing regulations, Section 504, no otherwise qualified individual with disability shall solely by reason of his or her disability be excluded from participation and be denied the benefits of or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. And whereas Lawrence County of Lawrence does not discriminate in access to, participation in, or treatment or employment in its programs activities, County of Lawrence 504 officer is Rebecca Schaefer. Whereas grievance procedures for any person who believes that he, she has been discriminated against or denied equal opportunity or access to programs or services may file a complaint which shall be referred to as a grievance with the following: either the Lawrence County Department of Planning and Community Development, CO Becky Schaefer, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, FHEO Region 3 Mid-Atlantic Office, or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Pittsburgh FHEO Field Office, located at the Federal Building in Pittsburgh. Whereas grievance complaint forms may be requested from the Section 504 office or contact information, whereas if you're a person with disability or require reasonable accommodation, please contact 504 officer. Whereas if you're limited English proficient, require document translation, please contact Section 504 officer. And whereas all residents hereby notified that Rebecca Schaefer is designated as Section 504 officer for any county, that any resident that believes they may have been discriminated against under any of the above may file a complaint with Becky. Now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, designated Rebecca Schaefer as a Section 504 officer. Becky, just out of curiosity, have you ever received a complaint under 504?
None.
Okay. Questions, comments?
No.
I'll take a motion to approve resolution named 2021-224.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vince, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. It doesn't look like we have anything else. We can handle the budget amendment for
You got
the Shannick Trail settlement. If you want to take off for other activities, feel free.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're not going to make you sit through this. Up next, anybody here from public safety? All right, I'll just handle it. Just a simple resolution here. Increasing, looks like we got a little bit more money for our Westport update through our 911 grants funding. So we're increasing that revenue account by $114,029.63, increasing the Westport update 911 accounts by the same. And the reason is just upgraded maintenance. That's, I assume, taken out of our 15% technology funding through the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency grant. Questions, comments on that? Make that resolution 2021-225. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. This is a budget amendment relating to the additional allocation that we received through the ERAP program, which is our emergency rental program, which is right now being run out of the federal level. Out of the state level. It's money passed through from the Fed to the state. So we're increasing. The way that the program itself works is this money technically has to flow through our NHDS block grant, which then we flow that through to Lawrence County Community Action Partnership for the actual administration of the program. But we received an additional $1,782,454 for that program. Again, we're just adding this budget amendment to allow it to flow through to LCAP. And this program specifically, we still got like $5 million now sitting in the account for this. But it's for any individual, any renter specifically who's been negatively financially impacted due to COVID-19. If they have back payments due on their rent or back payments due on their utilities, they can contact LCAP, and LCAP, depending on if they meet certain qualifiers, can help provide them with some assistance. I'll note that we don't structure this program. This program is set up pretty stringently under state law, and again, the money flows from the feds, but it's available to our renter residents should they need it. Mortgage assistance is being provided, to my knowledge, through PHFA. And again, that's just the way the state's structuring these programs. So we don't handle the mortgage side, we handle the rental side, state handles the mortgage side. Questions, comments? I'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-226.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Tracy. We've got domestic relations agreement with Johnson Controls for fire alarm maintenance.
Yes.
What do we got going on? I mean, I think I can answer the question, but what do we got going on here?
This is for the maintenance and the inspection, the testing that they do of our fire alarm. That we all-
Questions, comments?
No.
We'll make this 227. I'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-227.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. If in the future you have something like this and it gets on the agenda, if you just, because I know you're walking across the street for something like this, if you just call me and say, hey, this is what's going on, and that'll prevent you from having it, just for the mundane stuff.
Okay.
But I like seeing her. Oh, we all do.
I enjoy seeing all of you too.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we'll see you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Yes.
LCSS, we have a representative here from LCSS. Oh wait, this is just I didn't even read the thing. This ties back into that amendment we did 2 ago. This is just a resolution, basically allowing LCAP to administer the program.
I'm wondering if the woman that was sitting here, I wonder if she was here from Elka.
She is. I think that's-
Kathy Fresno.
Okay.
Maybe she thought we covered everything.
Right,
with the
yeah,
last
right.
We're fine.
Yes, it's good.
This is an easy one. We'll make this, unless there's any questions or comments, we'll make this 228. We have a motion to approve resolution 2021-228.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. John, God save us.
Okay.
Well, thank you, John.
Welcome. Good morning. How you doing today? Good, how are you? I'm good, thanks. We're gonna have to go over, just based on the way that, the Sunshine Act changes required, that we sort of structure the meetings now. We're gonna go these one by one, take a vote, move to the next one, if that makes sense, as opposed to what we've been doing with the,
I like the little key you put on here for how it's listed on our resolutions page. Thank you.
So first and foremost, we're gonna do, Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health.
Devereaux crosswalks to number 5 on the information sheet. This is a renewal for 21-22. Placement services, the range of rate is $117.42 to $197.76 per day. Currently, there is a clothing allotment of $4 a day. This is from, this provider is in Montgomery County. Previous year, 3 youth there, currently 3 youth there. And the total cost to the county in the previous year was $402.80. Total state and federal cost was $1,611.20, and the offset is with Managed Care Health Choices, which picks up the vast majority of the kids that are there.
Questions, comments?
No question.
I'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-229 for Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health located in King of Prussia.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion is second, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 230 Christian Family Services Management Corp. DBA Bear Foundation.
Fair Foundation renewal, this is for placement, rate is $65.72 up to $175 a day. This is a Lawrence County provider. Crosswalks again to 4 on your sheet. Currently, no youth at the program. Bear Foundation, no financials listed. This is a legacy program for us. This is a program that we historically use year over year for their foster care, and they're one of our most preferred providers.
Could I ask just a question for my own clarification?
Of course.
This specific program, which falls under the Bear Foundation, you're saying that this specific program, we currently have no one participating at this time. But am I to understand there are other programs offered by the Bear Foundation in which we do have clients participating? Am I hearing that correctly?
You're hearing that correctly, but my hesitation was, this very well could have been a backspace error when it went from a review from my fiscal team.
Mhm.
But I can answer that question. Let me pull up my device. Because that didn't seem right to me off the go. But
Well, here's how I'm interpreting it. You've got
Yeah.
the Bear Foundation up here, and I'm assuming they have various
Programs.
subsidiaries, if you were, programs, and that from what I'm hearing you say, this particular specific program, right now, we have no one enrolled.
That's what this info sheet says, but that doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, all right.
Because under Bear, we use Bear for foster care predominantly.
Yeah,
And they're always a second or third program choice for us outside of our own internal program. So I want to pull the most recent stats just to confirm. I have a suspicion that this is a backspace error, but let me confirm it.
You know what you just did? You messed up my half an hour.
no, I did. Blame me, not him.
It won't let me connect here.
That's okay.
No,
It's not a big issue, John. My point is that there are clients involved with the Bear Foundation
Correct.
with perhaps other programs that they offer.
Correct.
And
For
possibly-
sure there was a backspace error related to last year.
Okay.
As I went through that, we had clients placed at the Bear Foundation. In this fiscal year, that's where I was gonna pull up, so I know for sure on your sheet that previous year is an error, backspace.
Here's the other thing too that I want to note here. This isn't program funding. It's funding if there's a kid
right,
placed.
right.
We're simply talking about the contract.
Yeah.
I'm probably splitting hairs, and I don't mean to do that. But just, I needed to clarify, again, we utilize Bear for many, many things.
Yes,
Perhaps this particular program at the time, maybe not, but
right.
no big deal, and I'm fine, I'm satisfied, and need to throw your schedule.
I will make up for it.
Damn right you will. We'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-230.
So,
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, we have 231 Miraki, Pennsylvania, located Lafayette Hill. John, what do we got?
This is a new provider for 21-22. Foster care placement variable is $94.75 up to $170.86 per day. CRR, a more therapeutic version of foster care, adds at $12.25 per day to the total cost. They're out of Dauphin County. No youth placed last year, no youth placed this year, so we have no cost. This adds to our network of providers in the event that we need therapeutic foster home placement in lieu of congregate care.
Questions, comments?
None.
I'll take a motion to approve 2021-231.
so moved.
Second,
The motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 232, Cornell.
Cornell Abraxas, this is a renewal placement, $191.07 to $357 per day. They're out of Allegheny County. One from JPO and one from CYS last year. Currently, 2 kids from JPO are in this program. Total county cost previous year, $63,924.75. Total state and federal cost was $108,965.67.
Questions, comments? Take a motion to approve 232.
so moved.
Second,
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, LCSS.
Renewal related to a few different programs, both utilized by CYS and JPO. iMatter cost is $21,660.08. Monthly life skills is $2,617.08 monthly, and the Safe Parenting Program is $18,025. The service provides, there are multiple kids and families that are served by the program. You have no exact count on your info sheet. Total cost pertaining to JPO previous year, $56,567.60. Pertaining to CYS, $10,815. Total cost to the state and fed for JPO is $226,270.40, and for CYS, $205,485.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm going against my very mineral here. And you might not be able to answer this. If you can, if you'd be able to get back to me, I'd appreciate it. How many kids participated last year?
I'll get back to you.
Thank you. I'll take a motion, unless there are any other questions on it?
No.
I'll take a motion to approve 221-233.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Concern.
This is a renewal rate 5624 up to 192.55. They're located in Berks. One child last year from CYS, currently one child from CYS. Total cost to the county, $2,930.42 last year. Total federal cost last year was $24,564.42.
Questions, comments?
No.
No one's concerned?
A little troubled, but not concerned.
I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 235, Community Specialist Corporation, DD80 Academy.
This is a renewal rate from 261 up to 338. This is an Allegheny County provider. Last year, 3 youth from CYS, currently 1 youth from CYS. Total program cost to the county last year, $12,730.79. Total cost to state and federal is $32,129.21.
Questions, comments? I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, resolution 2021-235, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 236, Summit School.
This is a renewal, cost is $219 up to $408. CRP program is $160,680. This is an Allegheny County provider. Last year, 1 youth from CYS, currently this year, 1 youth from CYS and 1 from JPO. Total cost to the county last year was $32,696.02. Total cost to state and federal sources was $127,029.03.
Questions, comments?
I do have a quick question, or do you have a question?
No.
Is there a difference between the Summit School, Inc. and the Summit Academy in Butler County? Are they two different entities, to your knowledge?
They are different programs, and I believe they incorporate their different programs, but they all fall under the umbrella of the academy system or the academy school system.
Thank you. And so when I said Summit Academy, I was using the correct terminology.
Summit Academy, when I hear Summit Academy, I think of the residential program in
Butler County, yes. And you're saying that they fall under the umbrella of Summit School, Inc.? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
The academy,
To the best of your
the
knowledge.
academy schools.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
So it's something like what LCAP does with LCSS, ACTS, and the other one.
Yes.
Lori, you have a
No,
question?
I'm good.
Take a motion to approve 236.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Wasn't bad.
Thank you. I have noted a couple follow-ups. I'm gonna report back to you the Bear Foundation numbers, because I know that was a backspace error, and the total number of youth were 8 on the list.
Thank you. Yeah, I just don't like program funded programs. It's a general rule. That might just be me. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See you,
Thank
John.
you.
Have a good rest of the morning.
Hey, you too.
You too.
Next, we have 237, reappointing Thomas Mansell of Neshannock Township to Newcastle, represent Newcastle Public Library, appointed to the Lawrence County Federated Library System Board of Directors for a complete term expiring June 30, 2024. Questions, comments?
For those of you who know him, he's a fine gentleman. He's a retired banker/attorney and has been on this board for quite a while. I don't know how that ties in with your.
I don't care about the Federated
Okay,
Library Board.
all right. But a good man, very, very good man. In fact, the day they had the open
Yes.
house for the new, for bless you, for Carly Searcy, did I say it right? Mr. Mansell was at that function.
Yes.
You may have seen him there.
Yes, I spoke with him.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Take a motion to approve 237.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now our folks at the jail who have been patiently
I
waiting.
know, sorry.
Um,
We'll get you first.
We've got, discussion possible for an annual agreement for the RSAT program. Who wants to approach the section? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good to see you.
I know your name, but Lisa, thank you. So what do we have going on? I know we got an email about it earlier, I think last
Yeah.
week. Maybe you just be able to fill the public in on what we're doing here.
So basically, the federal, the Bureau of Justice Assistance is sending funds to the PCCD to extend the grant to September 30th, 2022. So another year.
We don't want you to retire.
Just keep putting that on hold.
Every year it's like, keep giving money.
Yeah.
Nice to stay.
And we have $59,000 left in unused funds to cover through that year. So we'll be able to spend it.
And what did you say the RSAT was? This is Vivitrol, is this?
It's one of the funding streams for the trial program. The other was the county jail-based trial program.
Gotcha. Thank you. Additional questions?
Just briefly, not specific to this, but, and I shared this with my two colleagues, but since the warden's here, I thought I'd mention it. I was at a conference last week, and one of the other attendees is a fiscal officer for the county of Wayne, which is in northeast Pennsylvania. And that county borders the county of Pike, which borders New York and New Jersey, so that you can't get much more northeast than that. The two counties have entered into an agreement whereby they will now only utilize one jail for both of those counties. And it will be the Pike County Jail. It sounds as though they're going to close the Wayne County Jail, or at least no longer use it as a prison facility. What I didn't ask, and I should have asked, was, well, how, both those counties up until now have each had a prison board. And I didn't ask the question, are they going to merge in some manner? I don't know the answer to that. But Warden, I didn't know if you'd heard that in your travels.
No.
It's kind of hot off the press, and I know, again, it's the other end of the state, but I thought it was very, very interesting that these two counties. Now, we have instances around the state where a good example is Forest County. They have a holding cell, but they don't have a prison per se. Their prisoners go to Warren County. But these are two equally sized counties. Each, their populations are somewhere between 50 and 60,000 each. So just wanted to let you know that in case you knew anybody out there.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your
Some
indulgence.
of those COs. We'll give them a relocation bonus.
I'll take a motion to approve 238.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you for your patience.
All
Thanks. Yes.
Up next, we have resolution 2021-239. This is just a simple budget amendment increasing liquid fuels construction design reimbursement revenue by $80,000 and increasing liquid fuels construction to Shannon Creek Trail expense account by $80,000. Reason related to the Shannon Creek Trail settlement. Questions, comments? All right, I'll take a motion to approve 239.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, I think this is 240. Simple budget amendment again here. Just moving $12,000 from commissioner contingency to special counsel. Rationale being that I actually checked this out because I'm working on the 22 budget right now. We incurred a pretty decent amount of insurance claims somehow this year. And, we expended this a decent amount of money on, P-Comp reimbursement, or P-Corp reimbursement. I always get too confused.
Honestly.
And so our, that line item needs a little bit more funding to get us through the year. Questions, comments? We'll make that 240. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do a second.
Second,
Questions on the motion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You indulge me another second.
Yes.
I shared this with Mr. Boyd, but I didn't get a chance to tell you. The P-Comp, the workers' compensation, our obligation to that account next year will, at worst, be the same as it was this year. It may be a little lower, but it will not go up. It will not change. I was made aware of that at my meeting last week. So
very good.
the minute I saw Mr.
Yes,
Boyd, that's the
let him
first thing
know.
I told him.
That's it.
He got a
Very
big
good.
smile on his face.
Yeah,
We've got a hold on the health insurance costs, we've got a hold on liability insurance
Yeah.
costs, and those were the two
Good.
things that scared me the most
yes.
from a budget perspective. So we should be in decent shape for next year.
And will still be eligible for the safety improvement grants.
Yes,
And possibly a dividend from people.
nice.
Up next, thank God for that.
Yes.
Up
Always
next,
the unknown.
oh, that's the big
Yeah,
one. The
that's
big
it.
one, the big ones are the health
Sure.
insurance, liability insurance, and quite frankly, CYS. So up next, we have a number, we've damn near covered the full alphabet here, of
Right.
administrative transfers. We've got one, $4,000 from NHDS contingency to MHDS materials and supplies, actual higher than budget allocation. We've got from CYS, 18,000 moving from, the purchase service agency to foster care payments. Again, it's just moving some money around to cover. CYS is an interesting one. You base it off what you think's gonna happen, but what you think's gonna happen never actually happens. And so there's some budget transfers just related to CYS here. We're moving $300,000 from adoption subsidies to foster care payments here, and then $25,000 from evidence-based programming to foster care payments. That's actually a good sign, by the way. I just want to note that. That means we're getting kids out of what we thought was going to be, maybe some of the more institutionalized programs more, and getting them into homes. So to me, foster care, increasing foster care payments, that's a good thing, because we've got more foster care parents out there. And the hope is that
As
eventually
opposed to
those,
institutionalized, yes.
exactly, and the hope that
Yes.
they're out there is that eventually those could potentially come into adoption subsidies.
That's right. Whoops, excuse me.
Up next, 30,000 from evidence-based programming, also CYS to promising practice. In domestic relations, 600 from the contingency account to credit checks. Liquid fuels, $45,000 from our Act 44 contingency to our Act 44 bridge inspections, just again, paying for some inspections there. 50,000 from liquid fuels contingency to the Shannon Creek Trail expense account. Again, that's related to the settlement.
Did I hear you say 50 or did you say 20? I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
20. I said that's up, yeah, it's 20.
Okay,
And that makes sense now because the settlement's 100.
thank you.
So. $30,000 from contingency of contracted services to pay Zelenkovsky. Audit expenses went way up this year for some reason. And Dan, you mentioned earlier about potentially when we were looking at potentially different workers' comp providers. You mentioned about maybe putting out to bid something for our auditing services. I think that'd probably be a good idea here, maybe next year.
Just an RFP.
Right,
I-
sure.
I have to, I can't recall how long we've been using
Okay.
ZA. It's been a number of years. I have no complaints about them. Are we sure on this 30, is it definitely the audit expense? It's not for the additional time they've charged us for all of the CARES Act? This is specific to the audit. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the CARES Act, we expense
Yeah,
to
okay, to
those
those.
funding.
Okay, thank you.
Register and recorder, $1,500 from their contingency materials and supplies. $290 out of JPO from their contingency materials and supplies. I cut back on materials and supplies budgets by, in a lot of the different accounts by 20% this year to balance the budget. They've done a decent job up to date maintaining it. Some need more. Right now, they're gonna have to learn to get a little bit more lean. Public safety, professional services to Region 13, shared CHE maintenance, $4,051.12. This is out of 911, not out of EMA. CDBG, Shenango Township Sewer to Shenango Township Public Facilities, $72,790.03. And this is done basically at the behest of the Shenango Township Supervisors more than anybody to be managed through CDBG. And maintenance from liquid fuels contingency to liquid fuels maintenance and repair. I can't remember exactly what this is for, but Frank told me that's legitimate. It's also liquid fuels, so it says what it is. But I'll take a motion, unless any questions or comments, motion to approve administrative transfers A through N.
So moved.
Second, the motion. Second, any further discussion or non-question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Ordinances, we have none on the table, none for introduction, none for final action. Announcements. Next commissioners meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 at 10 a.m. There will be a planning commission meeting on Wednesday, October 13th, 2021, noon o'clock at Hightoast in Taylor Township. And there will be a prison board meeting on Wednesday, October 19th, 2021 at 12 o'clock noon. I actually have a good excuse for missing this one. I'm going to be out of town. Out of country. Yeah. Any further comments from my colleagues?
No, sir.
Any public comments? Cool. In that case, I will, with it coming to the end of the agenda, I will adjourn the meeting.
There you go.
Debbie, I have my packet if you'd like to have it.
Yeah, is there a copy of that page out of the
Oh,
magazine?
yeah, I can do that for you. Magazine's right over there, but I'll run over to HR and Xerox that. And